will scrimmage from their 25-yard line, and here is 24, nearly 25-year-old Casey Thompson. And Tim, here are the NFL quarterbacks who are younger than Casey Thompson. And we'll start with Jordan Love, Justin Fields, Desmond Ridder, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Sam Howell, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. They all start this week.
Hey, they sure do. And Casey Thompson is his third school. He's got a lot of experience. He also has the maturity about him. And I think the coaching staff at FAU really appreciate, and think it's good for their football team.
Kobe Lewis will be the running back. Herman's offensive coordinator is a former NFL triggerman in his own right, Charlie Fry. Their offense pumping up about 340 yards a ball game. They're 1-1 on the year. Going to hand to Lewis, trying to get to the right side. He's got 5, he's got 10, he's got 15. It's a 16-yard run for Kobe Lewis on the first snap of the game. Shoved out of bounds by Sheridan Jones.
Well, what a way to start for FAU. I mean, it's just a split zone run play. They get a nice crack from the wide receiver position, and it's a good start for FAU.
Yeah, went right behind the right guard, Kamar Bell, a transfer from Auburn, and Chaz Neal, who started his career at Florida State. 16-yard run. Thompson and the Owls operate at the 41. Quick throw. Lewis had to reach back for that. Incomplete. R.J. Mickens was about ready to close the door for Clemson in coverage. This Florida Atlantic offense with Thompson. And he's a guy that, Tim, when he showed up, you know, the cupboard had kind of gone bare. Willie Taggart was let go at the end of the year. His son had been the quarterback, one of 3 guys to take snaps a year ago. This was kind of Thompson's job through the portal. And here is Lewis on 2nd and 10. He's going to be wrestled down. First guy there, Khalil Barnes, who draws the start tonight as the nickelback in replacement of Andrew Makubo, also 2.
Yeah, Barnes just unblocked, but to kind of get back to Thompson, you're exactly right. I mean, he kind of comes in and is forced to become a leader quickly, and I think that he's done that. He's a unique player in terms of he's able to run, he's a good passer, and he's got a good understanding, a high football IQ, which is why they've put a lot on his plate.
Clemson has held opponents to just 8 of their first 29 on 3rd down. That's 3rd best in the ACC. 3rd down and long. Thompson to throw. Now flushed. And thrown away. Intercepted. Nate Wiggins. And he will score.
Tom Herman talked about surviving kind of the initial environment that you're going to feel when you play here, and that is not surviving it. Clemson just a 3-man rush. They get pressure on Thompson, and as he escapes outside the pocket, just doesn't deliver an accurate throw. And then Wiggins, he's been a very good player, and I think, you know, another good corner in this program. Makes a huge play to start this football game.
Gone to try and add the extra point. And the kick is good. And as the old announcer used to say, if they weren't already lathered up and ready to go, they are now.
Well, they are now, and like I said, it's just a 3-man rush. You got 8 guys in coverage. You tell me where you're going with the football, and then you get pressure on the quarterback as well. And you just see Wiggins. He sits in that zone, reads the quarterback, and then good drive on the football, which is inaccurate, as Devin Price was the intended target. And then good finish on the play. Good rally of the Clemson defenders blocking for him.
Nate Wiggins, who had a long interception return against Carolina in the ACC championship game in Charlotte last year, comes up with his 2nd pick. Career-wise, and his first here in 2023. So an early blast from the Tigers here. On the 4th snap of the game, Tim. You've quarterbacked as many nights as Casey Thompson has. You got to have the short memory here.
Wes, that's a great that you have to respond after a critical error.
Yep. So Thompson and the Owls will come back out. now trailing 7-0 behind the effort of Wiggins on the pick six. And that's exactly what defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin needed to start the night, by the way.
You know, there's been so much talk, too, about this Clemson offense and what they look like with Klubnik and what the receivers look like. This defense, Wes, is still a really talented and deep defense, and it's a secondary that's loaded with experienced players.
Clemson came into the ball game just above 100 in turnover margin. Remember, they're still reeling from that opening night loss at Duke in that regard, but not now. Lewis will get the carry. He has the best play of the night. And not bad there. 7 yards on first down. Agent zero, Barrett Carter. Dabo Swinney said one of the best pure football players I have had in 20 years. And that's all you need to say.
Well, and you think about the players that have come through here. If the game does come easy to him, and then physically, he's just a talented guy, a run and hit linebacker for sure.
Yep. Pistol set here for Florida Atlantic. They'll move Lewis to the right of Thompson. You see the double wing look here, employed by Charlie Fry. And they go the counter, and they get him to LaJohntay Wester. Now this is an explosive youngster, the junior from Palmetto, Florida. Over almost 1,700 yards of total offense in his career.
He's the most exciting player for this Owls offense. You just look at the ball handling in the backfield here. Hard to tell, was it a handoff? Was it a little bit of a touch pass? But they're going to do everything they can to hide Wester and then also find ways to get him the football.
First down and 10 out at the 37. Wester got 5 there. Thompson hands, and Kobe Lewis loses a yard on the play. TJ Parker was the first of the Tigers to arrive, a true freshman from Central High School in Phoenix, Alabama. Good look at Parker.
I mean, a young player filling out that uniform. I mean, doesn't it just feel like defensive linemen in this program, just year after year, new guys arriving on campus that can really play?
Yep. Playing alongside Aurora, who is as talented as it gets in the Clemson front. 2nd and 11. Thompson going to deep shot for Wester, and he is just overthrown, incomplete. He had gotten behind the freshman Barnes. Jeremiah Trotter was up in the throwing lane of the quarterback.
Yeah, and Wester wins, you know, on the post route. Just gets inside, keeps that speed up. As you can see, as that ball was coming out of Thompson's hand, it was Jeremiah Trotter Jr. putting pressure on the quarterback.
Yep. LaJohntay Wester, you pointed him out during our prep, Tim. He can really run now.
I mean, he's as fun of a football player as you'll get to watch just because of his ability to play with so much speed.
Tight into the boundary and 3 receivers on 3rd and long. Thompson toward the first down stick, and it is incomplete. It was intended for Jamitri Hester. Khalil Barnes was there again for Clemson.
And it definitely was a point of emphasis this week for Casey Thompson to have to play on time. And you can just see he's trying to play with anticipation, get the ball out quickly. Seemed a little bit early getting that football out.
In motion, that's Posey. Fumble of the football. And I believe FAU got back on it at the 21. Thompson, I think, recovered his own missed snap.
And it looks like they're potentially reading this, or maybe just the inaccurate snap made Thompson late to get the football handed off. And the miscommunication with Posey puts them behind schedule, and this is not how you want to start your FAU.
See that Antonio Williams is trying to figure out where he is on a scale of 1 to 10. Here's Lewis trying to sweep to the far side, and Maskell, grad student from Snellville, Georgia, was having none of that. Charlie Fry, Tim, who you know from playing in the NFL, he obviously feels like occasionally they can get north and south, but their best chance percentage-wise is working the perimeter here in the run game.
Yeah, they know that running inside zone against these really talented interior defensive linemen and the way the linebackers play downhill is hard. And so they are going to try to get outside with their speed, but listen, when you find yourself in 3rd and 17, there's not a whole lot on the call sheet.
3-man rush for the Tigers. Thompson hit as he throws. It is caught underneath. That's Wester, and he will cross to the 26, and that'll be that. Jalen Phillips, the stop for Clemson from the secondary, and there's a premium on those. That ball's intercepted. What a play in traffic. Barnes has come up with a pick in his 3rd ball game as a Tiger.
An outbreaking route. Barnes jumps it, and yes, we may not have a kicking problem. He just continue to get turnovers. Casey Thompson looks like he starts right, which means he's a little bit late coming back to his left. He's not able to follow through. Again, it's pressure from that defensive line. Ball's left inside, and Khalil Barnes is
held on today at Chestnut Hill. More on that coming up at the break with our friends from the huddle. We got a flag here.
Ball start. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Tim Hedgepeth, the referee tonight. Dorian Hinton, a transfer from Middle Tennessee State. Guilty there.
Look, playing this defense is hard enough as it is. You get negative plays, get behind the down and distance. It makes it really tough sledding.
So here is Casey Thompson, 2 of his first 7, 13 yards and 2 interceptions. Lewis trying to get to the corner. Not much there, maybe a yard. Sheridan Jones was the first Tiger there. The Owls are playing tonight without Larry McCammon III, the senior from Birmingham, who was arguably their leading rusher and most talented running back. Lewis, who transferred from Purdue and originally started his career at Central Michigan, is tonight's feature back for Charlie Fry's offense. That's Wester in the orbit. Out on the perimeter, here is the catch by Lewis. There's a flag down, and Kobe Lewis races across the 30. If it stands, it'll be 3rd and short. Did they early release a lineman here, Tim?
Well, it was a screen, and I think that ball's completed behind the line of scrimmage, which would be fine.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Tough drive for Dorian Hinton.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-way screen where they've got Wester on the flare screen, but Clemson aggressively attacked it, and so they throw the screen the other way to Lewis, and you're right, it's Hinton with another penalty, and now you're way off schedule.
Yep. 2nd and 25. The new sequence here for the Owls in the final half minute of quarter 1. Lewis flares to the field side. Long throw, makes the catch, gets by the first Tiger. Slid right by Jaden Lucas. And that'll still be well short. 3rd and long again. There's a look at Lucas.
I mean, the challenge that Charlie Fry is dealing with, he's trying to stretch the field at the same time, trying to protect his quarterback.
Quarter in the books.
So far, so good. Long way to go.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Thank you.
We start quarter 2 with 3rd and long for Thompson, who is flush from the pocket straight up the field, and he will slide down before reaching the first down mark around the 23, and Barnes, who had the 2nd of Thompson's 2 interceptions, helps out on the tackle cover.
Barnes has been all over the place. I've been impressed with Barnes so far. I mean, he just done a good job setting the edge in the run game a few times. Done enough for Eric McLean.
Oh man, I want to tell you now, it's a thing when Emack's here. Off the 27, Thompson to the far side. Catch is made. Jayshon Platt, ball loose. Barnes has got another one, and Barnes returns it Back inside the 5 to the 4.
We might just want to name him ACC Defensive Player of the Week right now. This is an unbelievable play. He meets the ball carrier. Let's see if he's in bounds when he grabs his football, because they're on the sidelines.
3 minutes into this second period, they're going to take a look at this. Khalil Barnes, you see the hit. Ball is out, and he steps out. Under review at Clemson. Defense is out on the field here because of this. Barnes rips it out, and then see the ball hit the white, and then roll back in. Barnes does reestablish himself. If the ball doesn't hit the white, Tim.
He said that he has made.
Review, the ball was fumbled backward and out of bounds. It'll be second down for FAU.
It's their third turnover this first half. That's Mobley in the barrel of the pistol with Thompson. Thompson looking for the throw. Oh my goodness, LaJohntay Wester wide open. First down out near the 48-yard line of the Owls. Jalen Phillips makes the stop. Wester wide open in 19 yards.
Wide open, and they're moving Wester around in the slot there, and that's what Charlie Fry talked to us about. It's just doing different things, so it's hard to find where he is, hard to double him, and if you leave him one-on-one, most likely he will get open. Longest play of the night for the Owls. And this is Mobley trying to turn the corner. He'll crash over midfield into Clemson territory. Go the Owls. FAU's first trip across the midfield line with 4 minutes gone in the second quarter. Been all Clemson since the fourth snap of the game. When Nate Wiggins picked Casey Thompson and ran it back 46 yards for a touchdown. Quick throw. That's the tight end Moore, the freshman from Roswell, Georgia, making the catch, and there's another first down for FAU. That's a nice job by Casey Thompson, because what's happening is it's basically you check, we check. Clemson checking when they see FAU checking, and Thompson basically having to come off of where he originally wanted to go with the football. Tigers looking back toward defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin. And Thompson looks across the way to where Charlie Fry and that offensive unit are calling the plays. Here's Thompson in the pocket. Got away from the first guy, the second guy, but will not get away from Parker. TJ Parker brings Thompson down right at the 40. Parker, good-looking kid. And listen, getting to the quarterback without bringing pressure. Like, when you can do that, it just opens up so many opportunities for you in the secondary to try to create confusion. 2nd and 10. Mobley out of the backfield. Here's Thompson again. Spins it for Wester. And Woodaz makes the tackle on a 5-yard gain by LaJohntay Wester. There's Wade Woodaz. This feels like these linebackers for Clemson can really run, huh? Woodaz flying to the football. Trotter flying to the football. We talked about Bear Carter earlier, doing a similar thing. They put Parker and Peter Woods to the bottom of the screen here on that front for Clemson. Two of their young stars for 3rd down. Tigers bringing 4. Thompson hit as he throws, incomplete, and a flag will be thrown on the hit. Cade Dinoff.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 44. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Casey Thompson's hurt on the play. The flag for the late hit is on Cade Dinoff for the Tigers. Back in a moment. that's a tough sight for Florida Atlantic. That's Casey Thompson, of course, who their starter tonight, the senior from Oklahoma City, coming out of the ball game after a hit a moment ago against Cade Denoff, the Clemson defensive end. And Tom Herman's got to bring Daniel Richardson in the game from Carroll City in the Miami area, and a transfer from Central Michigan at the quarterback spot. 5'10", 205-pound junior with a couple of years left to go. So here is Richardson in a play fake. And he will throw, but caught out of bounds. And that is Moore again, the tight end, who is the intended receiver. Another look at the Thompson injury on the Denoff hit.
Well, it's clearly roughing the passer. He's up high on Casey Thompson, and then immediately as he goes down, he grabs that right knee. And what's interesting is you don't really see any contact to that right knee, but clearly he knew right away something was wrong.
Well, second in the full 10, but right on the edge of the Tiger red zone is Florida Atlantic on their best drive of the night. Richardson under duress, and he'll be sacked, and that's Parker again.
Listen, TJ Parker is having a night. He's just going to loop inside and basically comes unblocked, and a lot of times you're out of control as a defensive lineman. You'll make the play, but it's a good job of getting Richardson to the ground by TJ Parker.
Yep. So the Tiger reserves behind that front 11 is starting to make a little noise here. Third and long, 19 to a first down for the Owls. Richardson on the release and incomplete. Intended for Lewis, who had kind of come out of the backfield and was wide open but underthrown. And here comes Lupo.
All over his head right now.
Yep. So with 3:25 to go, we'll see if Clemson gets it back before the half. This is Lewis trying to sneak around the edge, and Peter Woods makes the tackle. Talented freshman from Alabaster, Alabama. Wears number 11. Boy, he's good looking too. It's 6'2", 315, and Wes Goodwin really talked about his development with us yesterday. And there's Carter wrapping up Lewis before he reaches the first down. So third and short will be next for Florida Atlantic. Been a hard half for Tom Herman's team. They got 85 yards of offense. Quick snap. Richardson looks, puts it up, and well overthrown. Koval was in coverage of Tony Johnson. Sherrod Koval, sophomore from Chesapeake. Sheridan Jones was there for the Tigers as well.
And Jones is in pretty good coverage, but Johnson, I feel like, either doesn't see the football, just stops running. And listen, 3rd and 1, you're going to take a shot. Like, you got to try to do anything, try to fight for the football, draw a flag, do anything like that. And it's a quick 3 and out for some mistake. Don't make it worse. And that's something you learn the more snaps you play.
Final 1:53 of the first. Richardson replacing the injured Casey Thompson. Long throw for Lewis, and got away from one tackle, and will get toward a first down. Ripped right through Koval and got 9 yards on the play.
You know, Wes, one of the things you do as a young quarterback to kind of finish up on Klubnik, sometimes when a guy runs the wrong route, it stuns you, and then you throw him the football. Like, one of the worst things you can do as a quarterback is reward a guy by throwing him the ball when he runs the wrong route. Like, little things like that, I think, are part of the development.
Sound like we just hit a personal nerve, maybe,
yeah, I mean,
back in the day?
It hit a little bit. Richardson
had pressure from Trotter. The ball popped out. It's been scooped up by Avion Terrell, the younger brother of the former Tiger star, A.J. Terrell. But I think this was incomplete anyway. But, boy, you got to know where 5'4" is, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, look at Trotter come flying through there. And you mentioned it. It's Terrell who gets off the ground and bats that football down. There may have been some space behind him if he's not able to do that. But with some of these pressures that Wes Goodwin is bringing, kind of overload pressures, secondary player and a linebacker, that time it was Trotter and Terrell.
3rd and short. They're going to hand the ball to Lewis. He will fly through. The ball came out, but I believe Lewis was down. Koval again involved in the collision. So Dabo Swinney calls a timeout here.
Well, and it may allow for some time for this to be looked at because he's up in the air, and
First of the half. 30 seconds.
It's going to be interesting if part of that elbow is down, because the arm is definitely on the back of Morangus, the center. But does the point of his elbow touch the ground is the question.
Prior to the charge timeout, the play went under further review. There is no timeout.
To me, I think the point of that elbow actually does touch the grass before that ball comes loose.
Yep, I think you're right.
But it's close. And with it being called down on the field, I can't imagine that this gets overturned, but it was not as clear as it looked live.
Yeah. Morangus, the center from Puerto Rico, trying to keep Trotter out of the fray, and boy, this is close. But it'll be a first down if the play stands.
Now, I think he's got a possession of the football. Elbow's on the ground now, comes out.
Yep.
Well, in the review,
and we can see this a couple different ways, but right there, if you frame it together with the other angle, the elbow's on the ground, based on the one we saw from behind the run.
Correct. Yeah, I think that elbow is definitely on the ground, and we'll be interested with first down. I'm assuming FAU is going to try to go fast. So, Clemson uses their timeout. They get that timeout back because of the review. So the clock should start once they put it in play.
Right.
And you would think that FAU is on the ball ready to go with
after further review, the ruling when the field stands. First down.
Partisans here, of course, have a vested interest in the result and not happy.
Just a bit.
Yeah. And I think now the timeout will be taken by Clemson on the first down. Because, like you, Tim, I think Dabo Swinney realized the Owls were going to go fast here.
Yeah.
And Tom Herman's team still under 100 yards of offense in this first half.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it's necessarily a big deal that Dabo used that timeout, but let's say that there's part of me that would not have wanted to use it. That ball was going to be snapped quickly. An incomplete pass here. Like, you're still in business to potentially getting this football back if you're Dabo, which I think is why he was originally looking to take the timeout in the first place.
There's Wes Goodwin in the purple, signaling the defensive plays in. He's from Southwest Alabama. He's from Grove Hill. About a half hour from Barlow Bend, where Frank Howard hailed. There's a back throw on the backside. The catch is made. That's Sullivan, another one of the tight ends in the fray for the Owls.
This is on an awesome play by Barrett Carter. It's a little tight end and a sneak throwback. You're basically trying to fool the defense with that jet sweep, and Barrett Carter, not fooled by it, and was able to be right there to make the play.
Tim, let's spend a minute here. We have talked about the front tonight in the opening 30 because we've seen T.J. Parker. We've seen Peter Woods. We've seen Maskell make plays. We know Aurora can play. Tyler Davis, we know, is a player. But these linebackers, Woodass, Trotter, Carter, have all delivered in the opening half, as you would expect. They're playing to the level you expected them to play at in August.
Yeah, I feel like, look, as long as, I've been doing games of Clemson, I mean, we're talking 4 years now. I feel like they've had a dominant front, meaning linebackers and defensive linemen. It's been dominant, and they've played like it again tonight.
Here's Richardson. Quick throw on the perimeter and blasted was Tony Johnson, the receiver, shy of the first down, and that's Nate Wiggins, who opened the scoring tonight with a pick six.
Yeah, it's a good job driving on the football. Keeps them in bounds, and Dabo quick to call that next time out.
Yep. So Clemson is now out of timeouts. Pretty good lick here by Wiggins.
Yeah, just an outbreaking route, vision inside to the outbreaking route by Wiggins, and then good leverage on the tackle to keep Johnson in bounds, and Clemson may get this football back.
Don't forget Tuesday night, the series We're Number One returns on ACC Network. The newest installation, the 1999 undefeated Florida State Seminoles. Special premiere Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern on ACC Network. Should be just terrific. If you've seen the one on Georgia Tech, there's been a one on Virginia, and now Florida State joins the cast of We're Number One. Third down, 1:21 to play. Clemson out of timeouts. Richardson sacked. Jalen Phillips on the safety blitz.
They just time it up perfectly. There's an alley for Phillips to run through. You're just gonna watch what happens. You see the mug look by the linebackers, walked up in there, and then Phillips is just able to get free, and I think it's a bust by the right tackle, Kamar Bell, and because of that, Clemson's gonna get another chance to tack some more points on the board.
Kelly had been deep to take the punt. Tom Herman going to call a timeout here. Burns as much clock as he can. 35 seconds left.
A lot?
Hey, Mark Wahlberg and Eric McLean both using the weight room here this weekend at Clemson. Now McLean's, he's in the captain's walk. Wahlberg, kind of over-the-top service on the family weekend, to be honest with you. By the way, he was at, the man knows where to go. He was at Rick Irwin's last night, so he knows where to go to get something to eat. And he's been all over, been at Study Hall for a visit. He was out socializing. Go ahead, man.
Boston guy. Figure it out.
Oh, here we go. There. That's what we're hoping for. We started rolling the Boston video, and all the guys from the Commonwealth started checking in. Huh? Here is Richardson in relief of Thompson, who is shaken up, and he throws it over the head of the tight end, Zeke Moore, incomplete. And that was Maskell again, 7 in the orange, pressuring Daniel Richardson.
You know, what's interesting about what we've seen tonight from this Clemson defensive line is that the guys up front for FAU are big. Many of them played a decent amount of football. I think they're a pretty good group up front, but the defensive line for Clemson has just been too much.
So third down and 11 for the Owls, who are 1 of 8 tonight. And came into the ball game 8 of 24. Richardson almost threw a pick to Rook Orororo. Our Bojangles Big Bo moment. You know, Wes Goodwin said yesterday we like our experience in the secondary. Well, how about the most experienced guy in the secondary? 4th snap of the game. A pick 6 for Nate Wiggins.
Bad decision by Casey Thompson, and Wiggins was there and he hit it running, and a little bit of a Lambo leap.
Back-to-back games with a defensive touchdown. Wade Woodaz, by the way.
Feels a little lopsided.
From Barlow Bend, Alabama, there was nobody like me. I don't think so. Second down and 6. And the run from Zuberi Mobley. Third down. Richardson going to put it up for grabs down the near sideline. Pretty good coverage. Toriano Pride, the sophomore from St. Louis. Headman is not very happy with a pair of 3-and-outs, and now a fumble on a punt return. Here's Richardson, plus field territory, middle of the field throw, and it's caught, and that's LeJontay Wester. He'll be credited with 12 and a first down.
There, nice job of standing in the pocket. You find Wester, who you need to get the football to, and listen, I think anything's on the table. A little razzle-dazzle.
Zuberi Mobley has taken a lot of the running plays, and he'll be the ball carrier here. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and nothing more on first down for Mobley. And if you're Tom Herman, Richardson, who transferred in from Central Michigan, and he matches timelines with when offensive coordinator Charlie Fry was there. Now wants to throw, and he'll just sail it into the north stands across the way. Tyler.
Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
football way, have something manageable.
Richardson right in the middle of the field. That's Johnson the catch. Barrett Carter the hit for the Tigers.
I think Dabo was almost treating this almost like you do a preseason game in the NFL. Give me a good series and I'll pull my starters out.
Right.
You don't give me a good series, like I'm going to wait till I see it before I take you out.
3-down line for Clemson. They're going to hand the ball to Barry. And Mobley knocked away. So Barry Mobley. Well, you better identify where 54 and 0 are on every snap. 4th down, and the Owls keep the offense on the field. Richardson dropping back. He'll cross field. Intercepted. Woodaz. Another one. 2nd straight game for Wade Woodaz, and he is knocked down just outside the 10 by Mobley. And Wade Woodaz jumps in the seats.
Well, you know, Dabo not happy with how things were going, and a play on the defensive side certainly to get that going. And you're going to see Woodaz. He's out here, and he's just going to sink to the flat. And you're going to see what happens with Richardson. He's working down the bottom of your screen, doesn't like it. He's just trying to get the ball to Wester. Just throws it over his head, and Woodaz, ball comes right to him.
And Koval in the secondary. Here's Richardson now taking a pistol snap in his own end zone, dropping straight back. He wants to cut it loose downfield for Alexander, who cannot haul it in against Toriano Pride, and there's a late flag.
Yeah, and top coming off the play action. Just a good job of keeping his speed up, a little stick outside. Can get led across the field, and the fans don't like it, but he grabs the right arm. Pride does.
And they're going to try and give Lewis an alley to run in, and not very much. In fact, he'll be pushed back a yard or two. And again, they try and get it back to the corner, and that goes nowhere. And that's Denoff leading the charge. 6'4", 315-pound junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. That ball thrown out on the perimeter, caught by Sullivan, but not much of anything. Daniel Richardson, who has come in since Casey Thompson was injured. And the 5th possession of the 2nd half for the Owls off the 25, and Tigers pursuing it. Luke Apart also the big tackle inside.
We're going to get tested now, Wes, on this depth.
Yep. Here's Richardson with time, and good throw and catch, and that's Wester. Short of the 40 at the 38, but that's enough for the 1st down. Well, it's interesting to hear from Wes Goodwin. He talked about the experience in the secondary. He rolled off guys that he was excited to see get a little more time as Clemson starts to develop guys back inside.
Buba, who, you know, we didn't see tonight, is just a junior. He's been backed up by Khalil Barnes, who's been a freshman, who's been awesome.
Yeah, he's played well tonight. And here's Kobe Lewis, his best run of the night for Florida Atlantic, will carry them to a 1st.
They're benefiting from it now.
Here's Richardson, hit as he throws, and the catch made by Johnson. But Avion Terrell was right there. The secret sauce involved in this, right? When you get guys, and look, let's be honest, Clemson is always what? In the top 20 of recruiting, and usually in the top 10. Here's Richardson flipping it to Lewis on the perimeter. Terrell right there in the neighborhood to take him down. Be enough, I think, for the 1st down for FAU, and it's Avion Terrell shaken up on the hit on Kobe Lewis.
But Wes, I think Dabo has done a remarkable job of continuing
Enough to keep him out the rest of the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks to Tom Herman for the visit. Richardson opened the 4th, deep shot down the field. Johnson was there, and Barnes was defending for the Tigers to force the incomplete.
Guys like Casey Thompson that wish they were still out there playing in this environment. If you want to play at the next level, Clemson's littered with guys that'll play at the next level. This stuff will get watched by NFL scouts. I think it's a great message from Tom Herman.
There's a throw to Wester on the perimeter. Put his foot in the ground and drives for about 7 on second down. So it'll be 3rd and 3 on the tour. 7 when they beat Minnesota in Boca. Gophers clearly distracted by the beach, which is less than 2 miles away from the stadium. And since then, they have lost 27 straight to Power 5 teams. And of course, the road struggle's been real the last. Saw the first down run by Lewis. He got up hobbling, but stays in with Richardson. Quick throw, and Wester another catch. Can't stay in bounds at around the 7. And it's guys like.
Say, how hard did he play in this environment?
Kevon Walker is the running back. And coming into the ball game at quarterback. Is that Kobe Lewis? That's not Kobe Lewis, is it? No, it is that's Michael Johnson Jr. who is. So we get our first look at Michael Johnson. There's on the face mask.
It comes on runs that aren't design runs, things like that where he drops back, and it's just a fast, big, strong runner, and obviously taking it to the Boilermakers.
Dino Babers' team in the final minute, leading 28-20, and the football. It'd be a heck of a win, wouldn't it?
Would be.
Here is the carry by Johnson, and Pride is going to throw him out of bounds at the 1. So it'll be
great tackle by Pride. Pretty good move by Johnson, and to keep Johnson, who's a big guy, out of the end zone. It's a nice tackle.
Johnson going to run it this time to the left side, and the Tigers aren't having that. Clemson shut the door pretty quick there. Daniel Richardson has come back in. In motion goes Price, 14th play of the drive. Richardson wants to throw, and it hit the back end of the Clemson defender. LaJohntay Wester was the intended receiver. Kevon Walker in the game. They're going to hand to Johnson, and does he get in? He does. With almost 3 minutes gone here in the 4th quarter, Michael Johnson Jr. on a 1-yard run.
You know, Michael Johnson Jr., who we haven't seen, obviously have a specific role and package they feel comfortable with him, and good physical run.
Yes, thanks. More coming up with our friends at the huddle following the game. Schrader with a Hasselbeck-like 4 touchdown runs.
Let's go.
And they're going to flip it to Wester in space, trying to get here to the near side, and the orange shirts find him. Clemson makes the play. Jamal Anderson Jr. is a freshman from Buford, Georgia. Played at Mill Creek. Son of the former Pro Bowler. There he is. Wears Dad's number. Big Jamal played his college ball at Utah. His son was a terrific player in Metro Atlanta last week. Walker makes a stop. There's a look at the freshman. And Tim, it brings to mind now, here again, we're watching a lot of young guys get some experience. Another strong recruiting class by Clemson and player development.
And I think really it speaks to, you know, this notion that, like, hey, Clemson's done a bad job with the portal. They have not gone into the portal and really made this roster better. And I think that Dabo would kind of make the argument, as you just look at the fewest first-year transfers. Well, look at the group right in front of them, Georgia. Well, the reason is they're good.
Right.
And I think Dabo would say the reason we're not bringing in a bunch of people is, 1, because we're good, 2, because we like the players we have here, and guys that we would maybe bring in from other places, they're not going to be high enough on the depth chart that they want to come here.
Right.
And so I think it's a very compelling case that he can lay out to say, look, we don't have a receiver, you know, catch 10 touchdown passes and decide to go elsewhere. That's not happening with our program. The guys that are thriving in our program are staying, and we feel really good about the youth and development that we have behind them.
Owls run it straight ahead. I think the other part that I respected, the ball's out of there and loose, by the way. Clemson has picked it up. And the Tigers have another turnover, 5th of the night. Zaire Patterson, the defensive end, came up with the loose change.
Termite, I mean, he was only about 5'9", but
that's correct.
He hit about as hard as anyone that I think I ever played with. And you think about guys playing inside linebacker, you got 6'6", 315-pound linemen trying to cover you up, but he was quick and tough and just packed some punch. And that's why it's encouraging if you're a Clemson fan today, because Keith Adams Jr., I think, runs with his father's linebacker mentality.
Yeah, it sure does. That's a fun note where we can tie all this together. You see at the top of the screen, by the way, the triple header for you next week here on ACC Network. And there's a throw and a catch going out of bounds. Florida Atlantic's Devin Price is a transfer from Texas A&M, junior from College Station. We'll start with Army and Syracuse. By the way, Army hosting a win. Yeah. And we'll see Army and Syracuse. You saw the rest of the Boston College and Louisville's on that list next week. Cards a win today over Indiana at Lucas Oil. And then Tim Taylor and I will join ACC Huddle. We'll be at Acrisure Stadium where the Three Rivers meet next Saturday night for Pitt and North Carolina. Dabo Swinney,
I'm fired up at the official.
Still litigating here with 72 seconds to go in the game. And his team leading 48-7. And there's a ball being thrown and caught. My goodness. Javion Posey throws it to Devin Price for the Owls touchdown. With 1:03 to go in the game. Tom Herman said resume game. What kind of football team we got? Trying to make plays.
A little razzle dazzle. We've seen a couple of these. Actually saw something similar in the Army game earlier today. This one's not a double pass, it's a handoff. And Dabo Swinney was working the official. You could hear him. You know, Mike picked him up, said, "That's 100% on you, ref."
Wow.
Still fighting.
And the point after good, 48-14. With 1:03 to go. And Dabo Swinney on the way to win 163. He'll be 2 away from the great Frank Howard. And he's talking to Tim Hedgepeth here, the referee now.
Yeah, I think he's kind of fired up about it. I think what he was fired up about a forward progress play earlier, if I'm reading his lips correctly, and then what happens is, I mean, he's talking about like, hey, like, let's still officiate the game as if it's in contention. I think that does bother coaches, especially someone like Dabo, who is trying to get as many guys as he can into the game, where, you know, he's trying to give them legitimate opportunities to have success. But this is something on a 48-14, and and he's just fired up as if it was 14-14.
Well, when we visited with him yesterday, he knows, he thinks the potential of this team, Tim, is really good, but he knows